Hi everybody, this is Megan Good and I am going to go over how to use Mailchimp. Mailchimp is a great option for you if you're just getting started out in business, and Beth went over the benefits and cons in her opinion, and if you go to the Mailchimp site and look at pricing, you can kind of see some of those things outlined as well. Some great things about it is you can have up to 2,000 subscribers and send up to 12,000 emails per month with that before you have to upgrade. So that is definitely a huge benefit. It is fairly easy to use in my opinion, and the good thing about it is it does integrate really well with WordPress websites. So I'm going to show you mainly how to set up a campaign. Setting up a campaign is probably the biggest struggle that people have, and then what do you do from there? So let's set one up today and show you how it's done. So you're going to come in and you come to the dashboard, and this is what you'll see. Once you start sending out emails, you'll see more reports and things like that showing. But since this is a new account just to test and show you, there's nothing there yet. So you can click campaigns, or you can click create or create campaign. So they're trying to make it where you know where to go right away. So we're going to hit here. And there's a few things that you can do. You can create an email, you can create an ad, or now they've got this new button, you can create a landing page, which is really awesome. So they are trying to innovate all the time, and that's a new feature. So let's start by just creating an email. Actually, let's start by creating a landing page. So for instance, Beth is doing a seller psychology challenge next week. So let's begin with that in mind. So what she wants to do is she has a video and she puts that on Facebook, and she wants to then drive traffic to the sign up to get their email address to be able to email them information, and to have on her marketing list. So you can create this landing page here. So we're going to set up a logo, and it could be any number of things. So you can do that. You can put like a picture with information listed out on it, whatever you would prefer, but generally you'll have some type of logo up here, then a heading. So something along those lines. And you can change the font here to be smaller, bigger, whatever you prefer. And you could change the color. You can change what's in the background. On this one, there's not a whole lot we can do there. So usually in the style, you can change that here. And it doesn't really change anything on that one. So we might have to do it from a different area. Sometimes when you come to design, you can go to the body and change backgrounds. And that's going to change the background there. And we'll click and save that. Come to the page. The page background is the top portion there. You could change that if you want. And then the header, you could put an image if you wanted to. You could do any number of things, but we are just going to stick with that blue just to show you. So again, that's changing that. You could change these parts in the body, I'm assuming, and the interior here. But just be careful. You don't always want to do that. All right, so that's where you can change a few of those things. You can add in dividers. You could put a divider there, and you can make it bigger, smaller, change the color of that, increase the padding or decrease the padding up above and below that. You could do a dashed, you could do it, all kinds of things. Bigger, smaller. For Beth's, we want to keep with her branding, so we're going to keep it pretty simple. And then we're going to put a little bit more information here. The challenge starts January 15th. Okay, and as you can see, the pre-done information there looks a little funny, so we're going to center it here, same as you would with regular Word, Microsoft Word software or anything like that. And then here we can change the style of the button if you wanted to. And we're going to make that a little bit darker. And my Pinterest board keeps annoying me. There we go. That's a better color. And you can keep that in line with your branding if you want. I'm going to come here and do the header the same color. And then it would put this email block here. So you can then the confirmation message, once they click that, is going to say this. You can do whatever you want it to, but that's what's going to happen. And then save and continue. Okay, so to have a landing page, let me go back and change just a little bit more just to show you. You could add in images, you could add in a caption. You just drag and drop these things over here on the side. To delete, you just click delete. Pretty simple. Okay, and you can put social information here. Because this is a landing page where they're going to click somewhere, I want them to have as few reasons to click away as possible. So you could put your Facebook URL and whatnot. You can change and pick any of these options that they have. If you don't have a Twitter, change it to whatever you do, but make sure you put in your links here, your website, okay? And then from there you would save and continue, and you come back here, and before you can publish this, you have to add a page title. All right, and then we save that. And then everything is ready for us to be able to publish that. We can go ahead and publish. And so that's a live landing page now. So if somebody comes to this link, they can enter their email and they can sign up. One thing that we might want to do though is from lists, come down here, and you're doing this from the list that you want them to be put onto. So you might have more than one if you have more than one business. We're going to do a sign up form, and we're going to do embedded forms. And we're going to try something a little bit different because we want a little bit more information. Okay. And we don't want the form title, but we do want the email address, the first name and the last name, and then the subscribe button. And we can change that a little bit. And so that is ready to go. Let's try inputting that. I copy and paste the code. And we're going to unpublish and edit. And we're going to come in here and we're going to try just inputting some code. And it should let us put it here. And that's going to give us greater information than this one would. Something that you can change at the bottom here. You can come to where you see at the bottom, you see submit or value. You can change that to be whatever you want. So for this one, we want it to say sign me up. Okay, and then save and close. And so that changes the button and what it looks like. There are some limitations. It doesn't look nice and centered like this does. So if you really want the extra information with Mailchimp, you're going to have it look like this. We could try one other thing to get that to center. And it's code that says center. And that code did nothing to that form. Let me see if I can get it to work on just the button, maybe. There we go. Okay, so center and do it on just the button areas or just those types of things. We can also take out this here, which is that subscribe to our mailing list. You don't really want to have them subscribe to your mailing list or show them that. So just delete that. Save and close. And it's going to look like that. So that's decent. You know, it's not beautiful using that, but you're going to get more information. Therefore, you can use a little bit more demographics to start targeting them later on down the road. So I'm going to save and continue on that. And we'll go ahead and publish. And then it's ready again. So you click through and this is not looking right. So we're going to just use the one that it had. You always want to check and look and make sure things look proper. Otherwise, if they don't, you got to go back and fix it. Always test it before you send something out to someone. So the landing pages, you know, I'm just playing with it here as we get started just to see what it does, but you don't want to do that. So we're going to put sign up form here. And again, you don't have a lot of options on what they are able to put in, but it's better than nothing. So we'll go ahead and publish that now. And we'll double check it. And there, that looks better. And it's okay. It's not amazing, but it's okay for this. All right. So the next thing I want to take you through is creating an email is basically the same thing. You'll come in here and you can either create an email or create an ad. you come in and you name the campaign. Beth had a standing out email that she sent out, so we'll just run through and do this one in Mailchimp just to show you. You would add recipients, choose your list, and if your list was big enough, then you would go ahead and segment it. If your list isn't very big, don't worry about it. You can personalize with this tag if you so choose. If your email isn't really meant for that, that's okay too. You're going to choose who it's from, and you are going to choose the email address it's coming from. You do have to verify your domain before you can send emails, and it's a pretty simple walk you through process. And then you're going to choose the subject. So with this one, we're going to use the first line. And you could put a preview text. You can also put emojis here if you want. You could choose any number of things. Emojis do help people open more if you're up for that. If it's not really your brand, that's okay too. But just know that they do get noticed a little bit more. And then we're going to design the email. So with this one, you can choose any of these basic ones to get started. We're going to choose this one. And we're going to add a logo. And we're going to add a link. So we want to always make sure that there's links included to draw people back to your site, to draw people back to what you're doing. Okay. And then with this, we want to move a picture up above, and we want to delete some of this. We don't need all of that. There's a lot of content blocks that aren't really needed down here. So we should be good now. With this one, let's change some things. You can click on it and it'll open this up here. And then here we can input the text that she's got. And we want to change the size. And the type, we want it to be default text. And then we also want to make sure it's not too big. Now you want to go through and make sure everything looks right. And on this, looks like this text is bold to me. Sometimes when you copy and paste versus just type it all in, it might look different. And so double check that and make sure it looks proper. I'm going to take some of this out just so that you guys don't have to sit through all this. But basically, that's what you're going to do. You'll put the information in. Generally, if you type it out in here, it's going to look better than this does. I'm not sure why. Line height normal. I'm going to try something. I'm going to try to put a new block in. And you see how much better it looks now that it's been typed in without, it's got some coding from, probably from Word to make it look weird. And so when you copy and paste it into a new one, it looks better. Again, just some of the weird things about working with this program. But if you're okay with having to do a little bit of extra work, it's all right. All right, to upload a picture, just come up here and click upload. And I know I put one in here. I'm not sure what I called it. Probably that one. Okay, so then we have a photo in here and it makes it look a little bit more interesting. And you can then change the button to go somewhere you want it to go. Maybe you're running a challenge, or maybe you're doing something else. You know, let's make it go to this seller psychology challenge sign up, okay? So we're going to put start the challenge or sign up for the challenge. And we're going to put the web address here. We're going to save and close. And so when they go to that, it's going to take them to this other page where they can sign up. And so that's kind of how we start automating. We'll have an email go out to our list. We want them to go somewhere. And then from that other sign up, they're going to get another email. Okay, so I think everything else is good. Do check to make sure your Facebook information is leading to the right place, your Instagram, your website, all of that. If you don't have one, just delete it with that delete mark. Save and close, and save and close. So before I send out an email, I always test it. I like to preview and make sure all the links work. Make sure that when I click it, it's going where I want it to go. And that one is. And check this one. Yep, that one's going where it needs to go. So those are a few important things to do. When you're done, you can go ahead and close out. And they do require a Mailchimp badge or information at the bottom, and so they automatically put that in for you. You could share this to Facebook or Twitter if you have it, but then we would schedule or send. So scheduling, you can schedule these out days in advance, months in advance if you wanted to. So let's just show doing it tomorrow. There's a couple things you can do. You can send at a specific time, or you can send oh, these are paid features. Sorry, I use paid features with other companies. So you could, if you pay for the $10 option, be able to let Mailchimp optimize for when you'll get the most engagement, which means they check and see when everybody that's on your list normally opens their mail the most, and they'll send it at that time. So that's really cool. Time Warp is another cool paid feature. You can send it according to their time zone. And then this one, Again, paid feature, you can batch it. If you have a lot of subscribers, you want to send them a little bit broken out. For this one, so we're just going to pick a time. Generally, lunchtime is one of the best open times, as well as like 9 a.m., 6 a.m., or 7 p.m. So choose it based on your audience and check your reports and see when people are opening most frequently. So you would schedule that campaign and then it's ready to go. The URL here is going to show what that email is going to look like, and you're set. Some other things that you can do, again, you can do some automation. And to do automation, you come into reports and you click automation and you set up an automation here. And you can set up an email to welcome new subscribers. You can do all kinds of things, but let's start a welcome message. Ah, okay. And then, so when they sign up for this list, they're going to get this welcome message. And then we can design an email. And from there, you go ahead and you do it the same way. You create a email based on either a template or something that you've already done. You can we haven't had any sent, so because of that, we can't choose that. But we can go ahead and either pick a theme. There's some pre-done templates, and you can just change them out. Events, holidays, integrations, notifications. There's various things that you can just work from, or you can, again, make your own. And generally, that's what I do. So we'll just pick one really quick. Here's a follow-up email. And we'll put a logo in. And we'll put, sweet, you're in. So people know that they're part of the challenge. And then you could add other information, but we are just going to do you can put a further message, make sure it lines up and it looks good. You would check your button and make sure that's going to work. Save and close that, and then we're going to delete that part. Okay, so this is an email that's going to go out right after they join our challenge from this link here. They're going to be added to the list. Then they're going to get this email to let them know that they're in. Okay, so that's ready. And then we can schedule. We can schedule when it goes out, and we can schedule actions. You can choose if it goes out on a certain day. You can choose every day. You can choose what time of day it goes out. So, maybe there's a certain thing that happens. So generally you want it to go out as soon as possible on something like that. And then you would go ahead and you can add another email. And then what's the trigger? What's the trigger that's going to make that happen? So a subscriber has sent the previous automation email in your series, and then you want to wait 2 days, and then something else happens, or 2 hours, or whatever it might be. You can update that trigger. And you can also change what type of triggers there are. So maybe the previous email was opened and they actually did something with it. They actually clicked on something. You might send them a different trigger or a different email if they opened it and clicked on something. So there's several here that you can choose from. If you're an e-commerce business, if they purchase a product, if they opened a campaign of yours, if if somebody signs up for your list, there's a lot of different triggers that you can work from. And we're going to cancel that. Update trigger. So then you would create another email and you go through and you add emails. You add what the trigger is and what's the next step and what's the next message they get. So that's really helpful when you're trying to set up like a funnel, and you're how many times you're touching that customer, how many times you're sending something to them to get their interaction. And so if you have any other questions about Mailchimp, go ahead and put those in the comments below. But those are the basics of what you'll need to do: learning to create a campaign, what the list is, and then the automation in this reports tab. And creating landing pages is done through the create. And I think that is everything that you really need to know to get started. And then once you start, you'll start getting reports and information where you can start comparing. All right, guys, good luck.